All right, I'm saying it now. I'm saying it right here, right now. Okay, everybody knows that Double H, a very controversial guy. You know that I'm a guy from Neptune and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna lay it out here. Machete, okay, is going to be the film of the year. Said it right there and there. People are like, whoa, man, Double H, man, chill out, relax, Double H, jeez, what are you doing, man? Jeez, think about what you're saying. I have thought about what I say, I mean, because I've done a lot of calculations, deep calculations here, looking at the whole film industry, where we're at, 3D, directors going by the wayside and everything, and I've come to the conclusion that Machete is going to be the film of the year. And I'll tell you why very, very simply. I mean, but first of all, I want to talk about the other contenders out there and give more reasons and scope why this is going to be the film of the year. Inception is a good film, and I think it's a really good film with very, very good ideas. I mean, the way I put it as a very good film, I say it's a very good film with very good ideas, but ideas that could have really been expanded to really make a truly amazing film. But I think that there are still flaws within Inception, a few flaws with the story and a few flaws with the action, but still, for what it is, it's a very good film. Okay, I will still defend and say it's still a very good film. And that's as far as it goes. It's not explosive. There's nothing classic about it, and there's nothing other that really says, this is something that will be remembered for time. This is something that says that people will be talking about for in 10 years' time. This is a film that people will be watching like in 10, 20 years' time. Inception ain't that. Expendables. The thing with Expendables is that I pretty much know how it's going to turn out. I mean, look, man, Expendables for me personally, that's my film. And for me, it's like a guilty pleasure for me. Like that's like my personal baby. But to be real, Expendables had to be 18. Expendables had to be serious. Expendables had to be dark. Expendables had to remind us of Rambo 2. Expendables had to really be raw and down to earth, which, from looking at the trailers, it isn't. This is just more of balance between some drama, but also a lot of comedy as well. And it's pretty much just like a nice little light-hearted throwback, Which for me, like personally, I'm there. But listen, I've even already watched the film. I'm like I've gone to the future and I've already watched the film. So look, the film is my thing. Okay, this is Expendables. I've been waiting for this film since 1993. Okay, so Expendables is my thing, but it is not going to be what I thought it would be. This is the film of a generation, of a lifetime, But it's still going to be big time in its own way, but not really what I thought it was when Stallone first announced the film. And obviously we have Tron Legacy and there, which Tron Legacy again, that thing is going to it's going to become it's extremely creative, extremely crazy. But I just still feel that it's still just going to be a good ride, I don't see anything special with that film. Special visually, 100%, but not that's magic in its entirety. And this brings us to Machete. You see, Robert Rodriguez has talent, and I will argue with anybody who denies that the man has talent. In a world of 3D, CGI, fake stuff here and there, the man, alongside another guy that I had extreme respect for, Tarantino, they brought out a Grindhouse. I went to go and see Death Proof in the cinema, but obviously I couldn't find Planetary because it wasn't really showing in as many cinemas as Death Proof, based on how badly Death Proof was. Planetary wasn't fully released in the cinema based on how badly they performed. I supported Grindhouse, and I supported the psychology that Rodriguez and Tarantino have, which is, don't forget about um, these films in the traditional 35mm, 16mm sense. CG is good and everything like that, but there's just something about watching a film that's grainy, dirty, imperfect film, And I think that's why you have to respect what Rodriguez does. That even when you watch Planet Terror, there's just something about it that like it's down to earth. It's fun, it's exciting, and it's using real effects. It's not using cheap CGI, which is just fake and just draws you out of the film. For me, I thought Planet Terror was actually better than Death Proof, and I thought Planet Terror was amazing. And again, an Oscar-winning performance by Jeff Fahey in that film. Obviously Michael Biehn was great as well. And because it brings us to another point. Danny, from the moment I first saw Danny Trejo, I was like, this guy's he's a superstar. And anybody who saw Danny Trejo for the first time was like, who is this guy? This guy, he's a superstar. Like, from the moment you see him, he commands the screen. Because, like, I'm sorry, like, when you look at Ryan Reynolds, nobody cares. He's just another guy. Chris Evans, he's just another guy. But when you look at someone like Jack Nicholson, or Clint Eastwood, or Samuel L. Jackson, or Delroy Lindo, or Idris Elba, or these kind of guys. When you look at these kind of guys, like there's just something about their face, their aura. They exude a presence that forces you to come to attention. To really take them seriously and be aware of them. And Danny Trejo is that guy. So from the moment I saw Danny Trejo, I was like, why hasn't this guy been headlining a film? Like, this guy, in the sense of Arnie, he's a superstar. He's in that sense where it's not about acting. Okay, that's the beauty of art, and that's the beauty of films. That Arnie is the worst actor of all time, but because film is an art, and because he chose his products wisely, he gave us T2, he gave us Terminator, he gave us Last Action Hero, he gave us Predator, he gave us True Lies, which are all amazing films, where him being in the film was a major part of why that film was so good. And that's why, when you just look at Danny Trejo and his career and think that, when was this guy going to get a thing? And then comes Machete. And when I just saw that trailer, I was like, there's just something about this film, like, it's like everything is right about this film. Danny Trejo, the protagonist, amazing. You've got Seagal there. Jeff Fahey is from 1985. The De Niro is there as like a crazy senator, and just the film, the way it feels, it just done. Like, God, Don Johnson, Crockett is in the film. So it's like, when you just, and also as well, like, just when you just look at this, it's aesthetic. What this thing is just like, Rodriguez just knows what he's doing and what he's trying to deliver with this film. There's no fancy advertising. There's no, oh, come and see this in 3D. There's no overbearing thing of, like, forcing you to do this. Like, the trailer is just out there. You can just watch it, and the trailer sells itself. Anybody who watches that trailer, you're either in or you are out. And I can pretty much guarantee I may be wrong, hence why I'm calling this the film of the year. What you see in that trailer is what you're going to get in the film, and more. So you're going to get an extremely entertaining film. And an extremely violent film. Because it's like, that's why, like, from when I look at Expendables, I was like, what has happened to the 18 film? What's happened to the 18 rated film that is violent, sexy, and fun, and exciting? What has happened to that film? Like, when you look at for goodness sake, when you look at that Machete trailer, that's an 18